be adopted and go into their forever homes and be happy, healthy cats. So that's kind of our goal as the cat program, is to save those animals. And also and then basically the process is we pull them here, and if they're too young to survive on their own, they go ahead and go into the nursery. But we do need fosters for every age of cats, from 1-day-old kittens to 10-year-old cats. Our foster homes basically serve the purpose of getting the cats and kittens to the stage where they can be adopted and go into their forever homes and be happy, healthy cats. So that's kind of our goal as the cat program, is to save those animals. And also every animal that goes through our program does get spayed or neutered to help with that aspect of the issues with having homeless pets. So I got involved through APA. I saw a Craigslist ad that was asking people to volunteer and come feed bottle babies, which I thought sounded really cool. And so I went ahead and answered the ad, got trained to be a bottle baby feeder. That was about a little over a year ago. Since then, this year, I've taken on the role as bottle baby foster coordinator. So I find fosters for all the kittens that are 6 weeks and under, and been here ever since.
So I started volunteering with Austin Pets Alive in the summer of 2009. Some friends I knew were feeding at the bottle baby trailer at the time, and I thought that would be fun. And I never thought I would end up fostering kittens or cats at all. But what I found was that going in and frequently feeding, I was starting to follow the progress of all of these kittens. And I would show up on a day to feed, and my favorite litter of kittens would be gone. They would have gone to foster. And I was disappointed that I didn't get to follow where they were going and what their progress was, and never really knew anything more about them. So I took my first litter home and have been fostering off and on ever since. I find it really rewarding. I know that it helps Austin reach no kill, but it's also really fun and entertaining, because kittens, especially when they get to this age, are so sweet and playful and funny, and it's really entertaining to have them in your home.
Well, I fostered a mom and her babies last summer, and had them for months. They came down with a terrible case of ringworm, and so I dealt with that for pretty much the entire summer, and ended up adopting one of those kittens who I have now. And so those are my favorite foster stories, even though here we call them foster fails, is when our fosters adopt their kittens, and of course it's easy to get attached to them. So fostering is really, really an awesome experience. So the capacity of our bottle baby nursery is about 16 cages. That can be anywhere really from maybe 25 to 50 kittens, depending of course on how big the litters are and whatnot, but it's about 16 cages is kind of what we try to stay under. That's the point at which we really can't fit any more kittens in here and get them fed and all of that. So in an ideal world, we need feeders every 2 hours, at least one feeder every 2 hours, but when we have like 40-50 kittens, we really need 2 people every 2 hours. So it's kind of you can come in and split everything. It takes 4 or 5 hours for one person to feed 30-40 kittens, and so it's really, if we can get people coming in on a consistent 2-hour basis, that helps a lot. And also if we have people that can double up their shifts, that's a really big help also.
Okay.
So probably the single most important thing, aside from formula or food for any of the kittens that you foster, is a scale. It's not a glamorous supply item to get. Cat toys and carriers and baby blankets are always so much more fun to buy, but the scale is really critical. This is a digital scale I got at Target. It was a little bit expensive. It was about $35, but there was a mail-in rebate, I think for $15, so I took advantage of that. And then just using any sort of heavy-duty bowl on top of it if the kittens don't stay still. This is another scale that I have. This was $10 at Walgreens. I bought as many scales as they had and then shared them with some other fosters last year. I haven't seen any more, but you can always be on the lookout for them. And then also Bed Bath & Beyond has them in the kitchen scale area. but it is probably the single most important item that you could buy, because a kitten losing weight over several days needs medical attention, and that's something that a foster often can't do alone, so a scale is really going to help you with that. Another couple of things that you might need would be some disinfectant wipes, never to be used on the baby, but to be used on surfaces and other areas where you might be feeding. And then bleach or just some other general cleaner, and these are all relatively inexpensive. And then for heating pads, this was a $15 heating pad that I got at CVS. It's one that doesn't have an automatic shutoff. Others do, and they generally shut off every 2 hours, so you just want to make sure that you turn them back on if they've turned off, because the kittens, baby kittens, will need to have a source of warmth all the time.
Preparing a bottle, if you were kind of just going from scratch as a foster would be doing, you can mix up 24 hours worth of formula at a time. It stays good for 24 hours in the fridge. Most kittens are on a 2-to-1 ratio. When they first come into the nursery, it's an 8-to-1 ratio, 8 parts water, 1 part formula. That's for 4 feedings, and then after those 4 feedings they go to 4-to-1 and then 2-to-1, and then they're on 2-to-1 until they wean onto Gruel. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some 2-to-1 just because that's what we use the most here in the nursery. So I'm just going to do 1 part formula and 2 parts water. The formula we use here in the nursery is called KMR, and it does tend to be a little lumpy. So this is, everyone makes it a little different. This is the way I found that's easiest, is to put the formula in with the water and then pop it in your microwave for a few seconds just to kind of heat it up. That helps break the lumps up. And then you can use a whisk or a fork to kind of help you smooth it out. And as you can see, when it's 2-to-1, it's pretty thick, so that's normal. Just whisk it until I have all the lumps out. That's good, and then I would just grab a bottle. We have these handy little funnels in here we use to, well, this one doesn't quite fit, but it'll do. And I'll fill my bottle up. And then I can just grab a nipple. And we use a different bottle for every litter in here so that we don't cross-contaminate. The formula should be, I tell people about the temperature of soup. It should be pretty warm. You have to keep in mind that kittens are used to eating, milk from their mothers. We have a bunch of different tops that don't all work. And their mothers are, 100 degrees or more, so it should be quite warm. And some kittens do like the bottle really warm, and if it's not warm enough, they won't drink it. So, and then usually for a bottle that's almost all the way full in this microwave, it's about 20 seconds, but of course that's going to vary depending on what microwave you use and if the bottle comes out of the fridge, it's going to take longer. So you just pop it in your microwave, and then you can go ahead and test the temperature just like a baby bottle on your wrist to kind of see that's actually perfect. So that's my bottle, and I'm ready to go. We wear smocks between every litter to cut down on contamination between litters. We have a lot of our kittens are either come in sick or develop sickness while they're here, and so we use this to help with sanitation. We also always spray everything down with Gruel just to make sure we're really clean between each litter so we don't cross-contaminate. So this is the Gruel. I'm going to go ahead and spray this scale out just to make sure that it's completely clean before I put this little baby in there. Another reason it's really important that we're very clean in here is because the kittens are not vaccinated. They don't get vaccinated until 6 weeks old. Okay, so the first thing we do is we weigh them so we can see what weight they're starting at. Looks like this little kitten is indigo, and she's weighing in at 150. We have these handy feeding charts for our nursery. And we're just gonna wrap her up in what we call a kitten burrito. And basically just helps with being able to control them, and it also is comforting for them to be wrapped up, so we just kind of, if they'll let us, wrap them up. And then when you bottle feed a kitten, you always want to make sure it's either straight up and down or leaning forward so that they don't aspirate on the milk. And you just kind of give them the nipple of the bottle. And you want to watch for the little ear wiggle, which she's doing, and the bubbles in the bottle. The ear wiggle means she's swallowing, and the bubbles mean she's actually taking in milk.
How much should they be eating each time around?
You okay?
Oh.
Milk up the nose. Sometimes, just like little kids, they take too much. It depends on their age. Little guys like this will probably only take a few cc's, maybe 4 to 5 cc's. Bigger kittens that are 3 weeks old can take 10, 15 cc's, so. Okay. As you can see, they're very loud. See if she wants any more. She might be done. You done?
And how can you tell when they're done?
They just aren't interested in the nipple anymore. You'll try and put it in their mouth, and they're just kind of, they will move their head so they won't take the nipple. I'm just gonna weigh her and see if she actually got very much milk. So she's weighing in at 156 now, so you can see she obviously ate a pretty good amount. So I just filled that in the chart, and she ate about 4 cc's. And now I'm going to do what we call stimulating, which is when kittens are with their mom does this, but of course most of our kittens are orphans. So stimulating is helping the kittens use the bathroom. We use either non-alcoholic baby wipes, or you can use cotton balls. And you're just gonna do a stroking motion from the front of the genital area to the back, and just a firm pressure to kind of get things going. And as you can see, she's urinating, so, and it looks good.
Can you talk about what to sort of look for as far as like abnormal stools or any kind of illness?
Their urine should be a pale yellow, and their stool should just be, a basic brown color. It should be pretty firm. If you have a stool that's more of a liquid consistency, or like a pudding consistency, that's diarrhea, which means something's not right. So that would be cause for concern. We would want to get them checked out and make sure they don't have anything going on. Another thing with stimulation is that everything's moving through correctly. If they're not able to urinate, that could indicate a problem. If they're not having bowel movements, that's a problem. They should urinate pretty much after every feeding, and they should have a bowel movement every 24 hours. So if all of that's not going on, we know that that's something we need to watch. And that's pretty much it. This little girl's done.
Can you talk about maybe some ways to get them to eat if they don't want to eat?
Yeah, if we have a hard time with the kittens taking the bottle, we actually do what we call syringe feeding, which is just using a little syringe with the milk, and you just kind of put the syringe in their mouth and squirt the milk into their mouth and let them swallow it. So it's just kind of a way for us to get the milk into the mouth and help them eat it. And then of course, worst case scenario, if we have kittens that are very ill and can't drink at all, we do tube feed if we have to do that. But that's, like I said, that's worst case scenario. We don't want to have to do that, but and a lot of kittens are actually very picky about the nipple or the temperature of the bottle. So you want to try, a few different nipples. You want to try heating the bottle up. And I usually, after I stimulate them, I will go ahead and feed them again, because sometimes it makes a little room and then they're hungry. So, and sometimes they'll take a little more and sometimes not. See how she's kind of moving her head? She's just not that into it. Okay. So that kind of indicates to me that she's done. And they will cry. They'll keep crying even after they're full, but that's just what kittens do.
So in terms of tricks or little things, tips that I've learned in fostering bottle babies, one is the midnight feedings. So the smallest bottle babies get fed every 2 to 3 hours, even during the night. And that's sometimes difficult to do, but you set your alarm and you get up. And sometimes the babies will start crying and they might wake you up because they get used to the schedule. So one trick that I've found is, you'll notice here I have a heating pad on the counter, and this heating pad is under part of the carrier where the babies are, but I've only left some of it under the carrier because you want the babies to have flexibility on having a space to go to cool off if they get overheated. But what I found during the nighttime is this exposed heating pad that's warm, I can put a container of formula that I'll need overnight on top of it, as well as the bottle, and I'll have the bottle ready. And I can also put baby wipes on it. So this keeps everything warm overnight. And then when I get up out of bed at 3 a.m. to feed, I can just come right in here and feed the babies and then go back to sleep, rather than having to go downstairs and use the microwave and all of that. Of course, in the morning, what I'll do is toss this because it will not be good anymore. And you want to make sure that the heating pad isn't too hot because it will cook the formula and it'll get hard. It'll look like it's curdled. So again, this is just a handy little trick that I've learned.
With most of the babies, what we initially see is just them not wanting to suckle, lethargy, possibly diarrhea. Unfortunately, these little babies are so susceptible to so many different things that any little sign we need to be aware of. If there's any little change, we need to note that immediately. Any sort of weight loss or lack of weight gain is very, very significant, even on a day-to-day, within the day. We need to know those things and keep track of how much they're eating. Making sure they're staying warm is absolutely essential. Up to 3 weeks old, they can't regulate their body temperature on their own. They can only go up about 12 degrees above room temperature or their surrounding temperature, and after 90 degrees it's pretty much a fatal temperature for them. Their GI systems start shutting down, so it's very, very essential to keep them warm and to make sure they keep getting fed and that they're getting sugar so they don't become hypoglycemic.
Okay. So if a kitten seems lethargic, doesn't have a lot of energy, head is slumping, what's the first step so that a foster should do?
The most important thing is first and foremost to get them warm. You don't want to warm them up too fast, you don't want to cook them, but you want to make sure they're in a nice, comfortable, warm environment. And then you want to get sugar water into them, any sort of sugar substance, KO syrup, honey, brown sugar, anything you have. And you don't necessarily want them to swallow it, but if you have it on their gums, then they can absorb that. You don't want to force feed them at this point, because if their body temperature is too low, you're going to be causing more issues with trying to force food into a digestive system that's shut down. So it's most important to try to get them up, get them warm, get them more responsive, and then make sure that you call medical staff immediately.
The Pregnant and Nursing Mom program is something we just started this year, where we try to pull every pregnant or nursing mom from Town Lake that we can. We do that because we can put a lot of our orphan bottle babies with the moms, so that's a huge help to us. Little tiny bottle babies don't do so great even on the bottle, so if we can stick them with a mom, that's definitely an ideal situation. And we've actually had really good success this year putting orphans with nursing moms, so it's worked out really well. And then we have fosters that love to take the moms and the babies to foster, so it's been a really good program this year. To foster a pregnant or nursing mom are actually pretty similar to the supplies you'd need for, say, Gruel babies, which are kittens 3.5 weeks and up. You're going to feed a pregnant or nursing mom kind of the same diet you would feed a kitten, because nursing and pregnant moms expend so many calories growing babies and nursing babies that they need all of that extra nutrition. So we do recommend that fosters go ahead and feed their nursing moms kitten food. You're going to want to feed them the wet kitten food, the dry kitten food, pretty much anything they want to eat because you want to keep their body weight up. So you're going to need canned kitten food, hard kitten food, and then you also want to go ahead and give them a heating source just in case, in the event that the kittens kind of wander off and they want that extra heating source. You will also need a scale, just the same with any other kittens. You do want to weigh the baby. Sometimes kittens, even though they're born to their mom, they don't, for some reason, do as well with the mom, so you do need to keep track of their weight. And for that reason, we also tell our fosters or nursing and pregnant moms to go ahead and just have some bottles and formula at home in the event that one of the kittens just isn't taking well to the mom's nipple and needs that extra supplemental feeding. Of course, in an ideal situation, you shouldn't have to do anything. Mom should do it all, but it doesn't always work that way. So, and other than that, you just need kind of a bathroom or a room to isolate them and let mom do her thing, and you're good to go.
So in here you have a shallow litter box with non-clumping litter. And what else? What are your other supplies?
Well, this is a Snuggle Safe disc with the cover, and I'm not actually using it, but the kittens like to just sit on it, so I kept it in there. But
normally that would be a heating source.
Right, and that I did use it when I introduced the orphans, just in case the mother rejected them.
Right.
And she wasn't keeping them warm. I wanted them to have another place to stay warm.
Right. And that's always a good idea. And then just towels. And how often do you change out the towels and blankets?
Yeah, this fleece with the butterflies I just keep in there.
Okay.
And then the other towels I have on top, and I change them out like every other day. Okay. I'll probably have to start changing them out more because they're starting to soil them more.
They're getting big.
Yeah, they're getting big.
And you said the first kitten just used the litter box today.
Yeah, just like 10 minutes ago.
And how old are they?
The oldest kittens are supposed to be 3 weeks, but I think they might be a little older.
Maybe a little 3.5, maybe.
And then the younger kittens are 5 days behind them.
Okay, and then in terms of food for mom, what do you...
She's getting Nutro Max kitten food. The dry kitten food.
Oh, the dry, okay.
Yeah, dry. Which I'm still in there.
Okay.
And
then you just have a litter box for her.
For her.
And storage for that. So, pretty easy setup and easy to clean.
Yeah, definitely the bathtub's easy to clean. Bathroom is easy to clean, the floor. And I have the digital scale, and I have a Tupperware container.
And how often do you weigh?
I haven't been weighing them every day because I'm able to tell just by looking and holding them that they're healthy and gaining weight. But I weigh them like every other day.
Okay.
And really, I've only been weighing the W's because the P's are just so huge.
Right.
The older litter is so huge.
They are. They look great.
Yes, they do.
What if you have a mom who's nursing some kittens? What are some emergency situations that they might find themselves in?
You'll see a lot of the same situations you can see with bottle-raised babies. Some of these babies are just born weaker. Some of them have special needs. It's important to continue to monitor each and every baby. Granted, the mother will be doing most of the work, but it's important for you to help her monitor the kittens, supplement if need be. Again, constant weighing of these babies and making sure they're all gaining regularly, making sure that you don't have one pushing another one out of the way, making sure the mom is doing her job. These are all really important things. Again, a scale is essential to monitoring the health and well-being of these babies.
Oh, hi, little baby. Okay, so when you're introducing a mom baby to a new kitten, or a mom to a new baby,
give the mom attention.
And let her smell the baby.
And you let her smell the baby. Aww. You put the baby there.
And if they haven't been away too long from their own mom, they'll go right to it.
Right.
Very good.
And keep petting her. Also helps to just distract her from what's going on down there.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, he knew right what to do. That's great.
And this one passed right over a perfectly big nipple. So I'm just going to put him back at the start and see if he'll
work his way down the assembly line until he finds one. She's a good mom cat.
Oh, why are you competing? So this one wants the same nipple as this orange one.
And that's the big one.
So I'm just going to pick this one up and just give her some love. Hi.
Oh, she's stunning. Look at her face.
Oh, your eyes are starting to come out. Your eye color. Yeah.
So when the bottle babies get big enough and they need more room and they start going to the bathroom on their own, you can move them into another small room like this bathroom. Other people put them in a bathtub. But you can see I have some dishes here, just a mat, a little place with a blanket in it. And what I would do is put a heating pad underneath here, and you'll notice the kittens will almost always stay in here where it's warm. Another little bed just for options because they'll start climbing, and then a small litter box. You want to use non-clumping cat litter in case the kitten decides to eat it, which you never quite know what a kitten's going to do with litter. But and they'll start using the litter box exclusively. But just a real simple setup. You don't need a whole lot of supplies, maybe a few little toys, but generally just a simple little setup. And of course, you'll always want your handy little sweep to sweep up messes from the kittens.
A little Gruel baby, as you can see. Lots of Gruel. I think they went for a swim.
They may have.
They're in their little heated cat cave.
Yeah, that's good. And in a bathtub, so it's easy to
keep them together.
And about how old are they? 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
They are just about 4 weeks.
Okay. And there's 4 of them. Okay.
There's 4. I know this one's Sinatra. And Holly's sending me the names of the other 3. We're going to have their name before I have my kittens and cocktail event. People want to know.
How cute are they? So you just have a carrier, and then what else do you have?
A carrier, and I have a heating pad. It's best to use a heating pad that does not have an automatic shut-off, but that's packed in a box. And I'm
CVS brand. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm looking for it. It's here somewhere. So I've just been coming in every couple hours and reheating. And they like to go in there and make their little nest.
And then how often do you change the bedding in there?
I've changed it twice today because they're just learning how to eat gruel. So when they come out for their gruel, they usually take a swim.
Oh, in the food.
In the food.
So tell me how you mix the gruel. What is gruel?
Well, what I do is probably the hardest part is finding a Tupperware with appropriate lid on it. And then I take 3 cans of... is it Max?
Max Cat
Kitten food.
Because that's what they've been eating.
Yes, and don't want to change their diets in any way. Mix it up in the Tupperware. I don't add 3 cans of water. I add more like 1.5 cans of water to it.
Yeah.
Mix it up, and then when I put the portioned food in a littler Tupperware for the microwave, I'll add water then. A little bit more water to make it a little bit thinner. The microwave will, the heat from the microwave will thin out the gruel even more. So I get it a little bit warm, not too hot, and bring it in here. And I've used different.
And you just use a little shallow dish for that?
I do. The best dish I found is a glass corncob holder. Because it makes like a trough. Yes. And all 4 of them can get there, or as many kittens as you have, they can get to the trough and all eat at the same time. And they also do less swimming. And they do more eating. But,
in a deeper bowl, they're going to stand in it and get more on their feet and bellies.
Right, and push it out and all that sort of stuff. I also put a little bit of kibble, which they've been eating, and a little bit of water for them. So they've been experimenting with that.
Good. And how often do you actually prepare the gruel and feed them?
I get up in the morning, make a big vat of gruel, and then every 4 hours I'm heating some up for them.
And then you just leave the kibble and water out all the time.
I freshen that a couple times a day.
And it's around the same time when they start eating gruel and regular food that they also start using the litter box.
Yes.
So with a gruel kitten that is now eating on their own, what are some of the signs that you might have a kitten that is in danger?
Again, the same things you're looking for with the younger kittens. You want to make sure that there is constant weight gain. that even though it looks like they're eating, they may just be playing in it. You want to make sure that you're weighing them throughout the day, making sure that they're defecating normally. You shouldn't be able to feel their ribs prominently. You shouldn't be able to feel their spine. They should be fairly proportional, usually with a little bit of a larger belly. And you want to make sure the belly isn't too hard either, because that could indicate that they're having problems with their defecation as well. Just making sure they're constantly growing in a proportional rate. And again, if you have any questions, contact the medical team.
So when you have one of these kittens that maybe isn't picking up eating very easily, what are some of the things that might be a useful tip or trick to helping the kitten learn to eat?
Well, this little guy sometimes doesn't always go to the trough, and I don't know if it's because it's so busy there and he gets pushed out, but one thing to get him interested in eating is go ahead and put a little bit on your finger.
As he tumbles right into it.
And see if he'll take it off your finger. Sometimes they like to be stroked.
Okay.
And feel comfortable. And he is doing that. So,
oh, very good.
If he didn't respond to that, I'd probably just kind of open his mouth a little bit and put some in on the side of his mouth, just so that he gets some.
That he says,
Gruel.
oh, this actually tastes good. Okay.
Also, you can use a syringe, and
the syringes we have at the APA Med Clinic, and you can get those at no charge. So that's useful. They have them in a variety of sizes.
And actually, this is the best type to get that has a little grooved into it, in case that you have to go one step further and put a nipple on it. They fit
They fit perfectly on there.
So, really, you just get the kitten, see if you can get him interested in the gruel. If not, sort of push his mouth open a little bit. And
squirt some in there, in the side.
Yeah, right
and
in
it's
the side of his...
Yeah, in the side is always important, so that if it were to squirt into the back of their throat, they won't choke. It'll actually go through the side of their mouth.
So I think, really, if you're petting them and, making them relax a little bit more about it, they'll be a little bit more open to whatever it is you're about to do to them.
Very good. Great.
The process of getting new fosters, especially for the bottle baby program, is, of course, the interested person has to go on the APA website and fill out an application. Once that application's approved, I get forwarded that email with their information, and I send that person an email asking what age of kittens they're interested in, how many they feel comfortable taking, whether there's any deadline that they have to have kittens moved out by or anything like that, and then we go ahead and set up a foster transfer and a training here in the nursery. So when the new foster comes in for that training and the transfer, one of the bottle baby team leaders will be here to do that. Usually it's me or Cassandra, the nursery manager. And we just have a little bit of paperwork we go through. One of them is just a supply list it just includes everything that the foster is going to need, whether they take bottle babies or gruel babies or, a nursing or pregnant mom, all of that is included on here. And then we also just have a little sheet that kind of goes through the basics of bottle feeding and gruel feeding, the frequency of feeding, how to mix the formula, how to stimulate the kittens, how to clean the kittens, just all kinds of that sort of stuff, as well as any medical emergencies that the fosters might run into with the smaller kittens. Okay. And then after that, we send them home with some babies.
What's really nice about the bottle baby program within APA is it's not a long-term commitment. So if you just want to take some kittens home for a weekend or for a week, or maybe you just have some time available to care for kittens, you can do that. And we actually have a lot of fosters that are focused only on bottle babies, and when the kittens start weaning at 4 weeks old, they'll move them to another foster, and our foster coordinator can help with that. So, and then there are other fosters that can only do gruel kittens or older kittens until they're old enough to be spayed or neutered. So that's a real nice, flexible component of the bottle baby program and being a foster.